Welcome to Tribecast, a podcast by the tribe for the tribe by Next Wave Media.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tribecast, the podcast by the tribe for the tribe by Next Wave Media. Here in the studio, myself and my colleague Gurik, and on this episode, we're hosting a really loved colleague and one of the artists I really respect and love, one of the most, Shachaf Freedom Fighters. Thank you for coming, my brother. It's so good to see you here.
Thank you for having me.
Applause, a little bit of applause. It's a must.
Thank you for having me. Congratulations on your project. It looks amazing. And can't wait to see what you guys have for the world.
We have a lot of good stuff coming, and I think this, we don't have any choice. This is what we came here for. So, how's life? How's life treating you?
Nowadays,
life has been great. Slightly hectic at times with touring and trying to keep everything in motion and still remaining in peace. But it's the beginning of the festival season. I don't know when this is going to be aired, but it's the beginning of the festival season. And I just came back from the first weekend of doing 2 festivals, and it's been a lot of fun. It's great to be back in Europe. It's great to be back in the season, to see people on the dance floor, you know, connecting to the essence of what we're all doing and what we're all so connected to. And other than that, I'm just trying to, you know, make music, see my friends, be around my family, be with my loved ones, cook as much as I can, and be at the beach when I can.
I was just about to ask how you keep it all grounded, like with all the crazy festival life, and you just answered that. So
I think a lot of I try to stay home most of the time. Like I live in Tel Aviv, and Tel Aviv can get very hectic. I'm sure you guys know. So I try to be around the people I love, my family and my best friends, and the studio and the beach. So it's either like I cook most of my own food, and I'm like into coffee and all those stuff. So I'm trying to, you know, I try to try as many things as I can within my realm and within the studio, and be around the people I love and be at the beach. That's where I get most of my energy back.
You keep like a routine, a strict routine, or you just like go with the flow? You have like stuff that you like doing, and you just.
I think I was never into routines, but I do find myself, you know, wake up in the morning and like make my own coffee and cook something, and like go to the beach and come back to the studio. I always remind myself that if I don't have anything to say, then I rather not be in the studio, because for me the studio is like a sacred, creative place. So if for me it's not like a day job where you have to like go in the studio every day and like work even if you don't have anything to say. I find it like alienating almost.
Was there a moment you felt that, okay, that's it, I made it? Or you're still chasing this feeling?
For me, it was like I don't really know what made it kind of like feels, because I've never had like a day job, because like music has always been my sort of job. So for me, from the second I could make a living out of playing music for people and out of creating music, when I was lucky enough to achieve that, which I think happened when I was like 18 or 17, which was 17 years ago. That's where I felt like I made it, you know, like being able to provide myself. So for me, it's just like making a living out of music is the blessing that I was always hoping for. And I can, you know, I pray to the gods and
how does
Shiva,
it feel? And
you know, to always
tell us how does it feel?
Because I don't know any other
emotions.
I think because I don't know any other feeling, because I've never actually done anything, then for me that's the reality I know. So even, you know, even during COVID, where we were all like, we couldn't tour anymore, and therefore we couldn't like make a proper living, for me it was always like, okay, so I see myself teaching people or like passing on information and like finding other ways to make a living, but it always, for me at least, it has to revolve around art. Art is the main thing for me, you know. That's what I keep as close as I can to my heart, and that's where I work from. So I never find myself saying, oh, I made it, I can like rest now and chill. It never gets to that place.
That's good. That's good for us all.
Do you have any weird habits or special things you like to do when you're creating tracks or specifically music?
It really depends on the session. Like sometimes I try to go in the studio, as I said, only when I have an idea. So let's say, I don't know, now I've been working on a new track with Merkaba. And the track has like this very ethereal, tribal, dark energy that Merkaba already has in his music. So for me, it was when I got in to work on the track, it was like lights out, just like making sure there's an energy that reminds me of where the track feels like. Yeah. And that's usually my habits, like to try to create the space that I long for musically, like that I aim for musically. I try to keep that. If I'm working on something very happy and very energetic, then I want to have as much light and as much like good energies around the room. And it really depends. So I don't think I have like a weird habit. It's more about the energy that I try to have in the space, so it will somehow help the music come out more like closer to where the vision is at.
Do you have these little toys probably in the office, something that give you this?
Yeah, for me it's all about trial and error. Like I have like all my music is being made with synthesizers from the 70s and the 80s. So for me it's more of a trial and error. Usually I write like a very simple hook or a melody or like a sequence or something, and I just record it for 7 or 8 minutes of me just doodling around with the knobs and like, just like moving from one place to the other. And it's usually the long recordings is where I find the artistic expression, because at some point after like a minute or two, you stop thinking and you start acting and, like just telling a story with the synthesizer, and you go into trance, which is what we're trying to achieve. And I try to then sit down and like take bits and pieces from these recordings and like build the idea on top of that. I try to let my imagination and the trial and error actually create the track, rather than my thinking brain of like, oh, this is where a snare should come in, or this is where this should happen. I try to let it just happen with the flow. So for me, it's just moving from one machine to the other and try to express myself on each and every machine, and just sit down after a couple of hours and just see what I have and how I can work with it and mold it into something that sounds like a story.
And was it like from the very start, from the very beginning that you started producing music, or it came with the experience?
I think it came with the experience, because at first I was really like fighting it. I think
So it started technically?
It started technically.
I need to start with the rhythm section, then I need to bring the melody.
Yeah, it was just like I needed to do my 10,000 hours. First and foremost, that was like any other job you have, like you need those 10,000 hours. Yeah, to like practice and like understand. But once once my hands actually touched the synthesizer for the first time, I was like, okay, yeah, like this is it. Like
Angels came down from the sky.
Yeah, this is more interesting to me, because I like when the music writes itself rather than, you know what I mean? It reminds me of this track I did with Deco once, Ozora.
I love this track.
Yeah,
man.
love this track. We were just sitting, each one of us was on a different synthesizer, and it was amazing to watch him work and the energy we had in the room in that day. It was just like he was playing a melody and we recorded it, and I played something on top, and everything just happened live. We didn't think about it. We didn't talk about the idea of the track. It was just like, okay, let's just record, let's just play stuff live.
That's how the magic happens.
And then the track literally wrote itself in 2.5 hours. I remember a couple of years later, I came back because I wanted to see how the track sounded in the first sketch. And the first sketch just sounded like 95% like the track that people know nowadays. So for me, the best tracks usually happen in the first couple of hours, where the track just writes itself. Yeah. So,
Do you remember some failure that was like really rough, but at some point you felt how it make you grow?
I feel like we're learning only from failures. You know, that's where you develop the most when you
Yeah.
experience failures. It could be as a DJ where you play a track that you're sure it's gonna work, or a vibe that you have in your head for a certain
And then-
set, and then you get to the dance floor and people are not exactly feeling it, and from that you learn exactly what you don't want to do next, or like how to evolve the idea you had in your head that you were sure that it's amazing, and after you played it you were like, okay, maybe I need to go back home and like work on it. I remember when we played the first Uncharted Territory set, we were sure we had something amazing, and then we went to the dance floor and the crowd was like, nice, try harder. And then we came back into the lab and we worked, and I think all my life was like filled with small I don't even see them as failures, you know, I see them as like lessons. Even if it's you know, like one time that I went on a podcast and said stuff that I shouldn't have, or I see it as a lesson, because in the end of the day, we learn the best lessons out of, you know, failures like
for
that.
sure.
So for
Yeah.
me, it's a lesson. So I don't remember one specific thing. It's always like, even when I go and I play and I have like an amazing experience and I'm very happy with what I played, the first question I ask myself is like, what could I have done better? What's in that hour and a half or 2 hours or 5 hours or 1 hour? What track wasn't the best fit for that specific
You do this every time? Set?
every time. Even now, even when I played with an orchestra and everyone was like very
which
happy
that's-
with
that's quite crazy.
with everything, I was like, the first thing I did was going backstage, and like one of my best friends was there, and I was like, okay, just tell me the truth. What could have been better? What track do you think we should have add or like take out? Or like, I always want to make a better experience for people and for myself. So for me, it's always like trying to achieve this, I don't want to say perfection, but the best version of myself.
That's quite interesting. Any other opposite moments when you're like, got it, that's it, like that's perfect. That was
I think the first time I
answered
had
my expectations fully.
Yeah, I think
you know?
the first time I had the honor, like the immense honor of closing the stage at Ozora.
Oh, of course.
So that was like an experience
Classic.
where I went off stage and I felt like I was on a cloud. I didn't want to change anything out of that experience. And even now that I see, I don't like watching myself playing. Like, I never watch my after movies ever. I cannot
Seriously?
do that. It makes me
That's
like,
that's interesting what you're
I don't
saying.
like, I
because,
don't like watching myself on screen. I don't like that. At least for me, you know.
even
It's
for
like,
the purpose of like, you know, making a checklist of what I can do better or what I should not do, and you know, the stuff that you were talking about right now.
You know, when the editor sends you the after movie and you have to like, I try to look at it from a perspective of like the viewer, not like, oh,
But
I
not
look so
indulging in
cool
your
on
own,
stage.
like,
I'm not
like, oh my
indulging
God,
in it, you
it's
know,
so
like
great,
I fucking hate that shit. No offense. So for me, it's always like a learning curve of like what I could have done better. And so when I came off stage at Ozora, I was like, that was one of the first times where I was happy with the experience I gave to people. It didn't happen many times in
Didn't
life. I
happen a
always
lot.
feel like I can do something better.
It's amazing how Ozora does it for you. Like it doesn't matter from what I get. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you come from the perspective of the artist or the crowd. It's a magical place where you're like, you know, you come to a point where you're like, perfect. That's it. That's all I want right now.
Something happens on the dance floor of that festival where
Something in the valley.
It's not something I can explain in words. I don't even think you need, acid or anything like that. Like,
But it helps.
It does help, but it increases. But even if you won't do anything, just the energy that you have there it just hugs you. You know,
You kind of feel it the moment you pass the gate, the welcome to paradise. The moment you pass the gate, you're like, okay, it feels like home.
Yeah.
I'm familiar
It
with
does.
that. I'm
After
familiar
2
with that.
days, I find myself barefoot, like you
Yeah,
can't
and
recognize
naked
me,
on
man.
some
I'm like,
tree, like completely wasted in some bush after a crazy night. Nobody knows where he is. Like everybody looking for everybody.
yeah, dude, I wanted the full experience when I closed the stage. So my friends came with me. We were like 5 or 6 friends. I wanted to sleep in a tent for 6 days.
Oh wow.
And
How
I
was
forgot
it?
to buy a tent because all I cared about was the music that I was going to play. So my friends brought me an extra tent they had, and it was like small, and my feet couldn't fit. So my feet were like
I'm
outside of
familiar
the
with
tent.
that one.
My feet were outside of the tent, and I slept like that for like 5 days.
Wow.
Man, you know, I liked it. I like
Yeah.
being one of, like, I am
You have the
one of
breeze,
the
like-
tribe, and I like being that, you know, like I like staying for the whole festival. You'll always see me on the dance floor. I'm always
sure.
like raving, and I'm listening to other people because that's,
Next to Tristan.
yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
man. That's where we get the influence to come back home
Sure.
and make music. How can you make music for the dance floor without being on the dance floor?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
That's probably one of the most magical things about the psy scene, yeah, or the electronic music scene, where it's all on the same level. You have to experience the dance floor in order to lead the dance floor, and vice versa.
true.
Yes.
Agreed.
Like, also, as an artist, you have to feel the dance floor in order to understand what is the emotion that is happening there, what people ask for, what do they like, what makes them feel, what makes them connect better. As
In the end, from my point of view, it's a conversation between you and a lot of people. Which,
Through music.
Of course, but it is a language.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
definitely.
in the end of the day, I feel like we have a message as an artist to like bring forward, and we have to find a way to bring the message forward so that people will understand it and become one. Because in the end of the day, we don't play for ourselves. Otherwise, we
Yeah.
would play in our bedrooms. But I don't I don't think you should play music that you don't like so that people would like you. I think you should always play the music that you believe in and stand behind, but you have to find a way to communicate it
For
better.
sure. I mean, even playing music that you don't like is a good practice.
I'm not cut out of that material. I can't, like, for me, it's just, it feels like I'm lying, you know what I mean? And I feel that
You want to keep it authentic.
Yeah, I think the second you lose your authenticity as an artist, then it turns into commerce. It's no longer art.
Yeah.
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 You know, there are a lot of new psytrance artists out there now. A lot of them. It's like really growing. And is there any mistake, let's call it mistake, that you see a lot of people, a lot of new artists do that you want to maybe make a comment about it? Some tip, maybe?
Take the long road. Understand that it's not a 100-meter run. It's a marathon. So working slowly but thoroughly, and really working on your craft, working on your essence as an artist, understanding the message that you want to bring forward, not looking out and saying like, oh, this and that artist are doing this and that, so maybe if I do that, then it will work for me too. Don't look for the shortcuts. Understand that it's a marathon, and you have to learn how to run a marathon, and it takes time. So if I have one message, it would be, don't look for the shortcuts, and be very authentic and true to yourself. And your way is the only way when it comes to authenticity. Like, I can take ideas from other artists and try to think how I would have done it my way, but I would never tell someone to like look at an artist and say, oh, this guy does this, go ahead and do that exactly, it might work for you too. No, find a way, because in the end of the day, people connect to truth. They connect to an authenticity. They follow you because they believe not just in your music, they believe in you. Like, they like following you because they feel like you're telling the truth from your angle. Stick to that. It takes time. Building a crowd takes time. Building a following takes time. Building an artistic taste takes time.
Yeah. Crafting
For-
your own flavor.
Exactly. So and it takes years, you know. It takes
sure.
years. You need those 10,000 hours, and you need those 10,000 hours when it comes to building a following, building a social media account, building your musical taste, building how you transmit your energies to people. So just understand that it takes time. Don't look for the shortcuts.
Yeah. Nowadays, you have a team around it, or you do most of it yourself?
I have a lot of people that without them I wouldn't exist.
For
So
sure.
like, you know, my manager, Ori, first and foremost, you know, is in charge of everything goes through him, whether it's music
Shout
or...
out to Ori.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Ori.
Go,
or
Ori.
Everything that I do goes through him because it's important, like, to have someone that you know that he wants the best for you first
Yeah.
and foremost, and
For sure.
and then like a social media manager and a photographer and a driver and a partner, and like all these people are in charge of this thing called freedom fighters. You know, a lot of people ask me, why is it freedom fighters and not freedom fighters?
That was my next fucking question. I shit you not. Why is it
the,
plural and not
the reason is that we're all fighting for freedom,
Yeah.
like as a collective. So for me, it's like freedom fighters is like all of us together. It's not just me.
It's not Star Wars related. It's like
not
follow
Star
the
Wars.
way.
No. It started as a project of two people ages ago. I had a Portuguese partner back in like 2005-06, and we worked together for like a year and a half. And we started, I think we did like 2 or 3 tracks that actually saw the light of day. And then, you know, it was the beginning. I could have changed it to Freedom Fighter and
Yeah.
still stay with it. But then I thought about it, you know, because my name in Hebrew is Shachaf, and
Yeah.
Shachaf is a bird. It means seagull. And like a bird always, to me, always like it says a lot about freedom.
Represents freedom. Yeah.
You can't cage a bird, and it says a lot about me as a person as well. I cannot be caged. I don't like to follow society's pathways. I always do my own thing. I don't like when people take away my freedom in any way, shape, or form. So it always felt like it's us as collective. We're always fighting for freedom. So it's I guess that's why I kept it Freedom Fighters.
Nice.
How do you keep your music fresh? Like how the psytrance is always changing, you know? There's a lot of stuff going on. What helps you to stay in?
We can argue about that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you know, it's always sounds that nothing new can come out of it, but how do you bring something fresh and unique from on the table from your side?
Like for example, with the orchestra, that's quite amazing, man. That's
Yeah, I mean,
breaking the boundaries.
for me, I don't take this psytrance label on my back, which I love the psychedelic scene, and I'm a part of it, and I'm proud of it, and I wouldn't change it for any other thing. But for me, when I go in the studio to create, I don't think about genres. You know what I mean? For me, it's just like I'm going in the studio right now. I'm going to create whatever I would want to listen to between the speakers. Whether it's a club, whether it's a festival, it depends on the track itself. But for me, it's just more about the influences that I have right now, which are never psytrance. I don't like, if I do listen to psytrance, it's very specific and like mostly old school, or like some artists that I love nowadays. But in order to stay fresh, I bring a lot of influences from the outside.
Where from? Where do you go to?
Nowadays,
What are you listening to when you're like alone in your room? And you
okay,
need,
so
like,
it depends. If I have like
Good
a
question.
vinyl thing in my living room, and I listen to a lot of psychedelic rock from the 70s, whether it's like Camel and stuff
Nice.
like that. I listen to a lot of like old records that my grandfather used to like. My grandfather and my father collected a lot of records, so I got a lot of records from them. So I listened to a lot of the records that they had. It could be Beatles, could be Doors, could be anything like that, up until like, you know, all the way to progressive rock, like I said, and psychedelic rock. And if it's like something more current of nowadays, then I listen to a lot of like hypnotic techno. That's where I found
Nice.
that's where I find most of my influence.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Now
a lot
that
of
I get to think
I think a
about
lot
it,
of
like-
people don't understand it because I work within the psychedelic scene, but I grew up on psytrance and techno at the same time.
Which
from
artists?
the beginning?
It is psychedelic.
Which artists?
From the beginning,
It is
exactly. My
psychedelic.
point exactly.
It's deep and psychedelic and
Techno
gloomy and
for
darkish
me
and-
was way more like when I started listening to psychedelic trance, which was like 2003, 4, 5. It wasn't as psychedelic as it was back in the 90s. It
Yeah.
was slightly more commercial in a way. But back then, I used to listen to a lot of Dusty Kid and Boris Brejcha back in the day, and Stefan Bodzing in his early 2000 era. So I came from that era of like techno. So for me, it was always like on one end, I could listen to anything from Omega back in the days, whether it's like Sub-6 or Infected or Astrix or Pixel or Domestic, which I was a big fan of, or GMS or Panic or you name it, like these kind of things. I was always more towards the serious psychedelic. I was
Third Empire parties.
I found myself
Wow.
there. You know, that's where I used to go as a child. So
Me as well.
that's where I found
Different.
myself. And on the other hand, Dusty Kid was one of the biggest influences, and
sure.
up until today, one of the biggest influences I've ever had.
forever.
So for me, it was always like techno and psytrance at the same time, evolving. And when hypnotic techno started taking shape, I really got into it. Like,
Yeah.
you'll find me doing Boom and or Ozora, and then the following week I'll be in Berlin going to Berghain
Berghain.
for like 2 days straight, and I'll be like,
They let you in?
yeah.
Way
I
to
mean,
go,
yeah.
man.
One time
You made it.
one time they didn't because I was like with friends that they didn't like, which kind of hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
But then I came back the next day and everything was okay.
Remember that moment we talked about a moment of success, like feeling that I made
That's
it?
a moment of
That's a moment
success.
of success.
Yeah. So for me, influences always come from like across the board. I listen to everything, every electronic genre, and if there's good psytrance around, then I would listen to it. But mostly I find my influences from other realms of electronic music. And for me, again, it's not about the genre. It's more about the feeling that the music has. Because you can find a lot of like hypnotic techno that in my DNA, it feels much more trippy,
trancey, yeah.
much more trancey, and much more like makes you want to close your eyes and like, you know, just like follow the small intricacies of like small changes in every sound in the trip, which I take a lot of ideas from and use them in my music.
I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
You work with a lot of big artists. You had a lot of really interesting collabs. Was there any specific collab that really shaped the way you work with music? Something, you know, really unique that was like very special?
I think I learned something from every artist. It doesn't matter how big or small they were, whether it's an artist that makes music for 2 years or Infected Mushroom. For me, it doesn't matter. Every artist has their way of making music, and you can learn. If you come with an open heart and open mind to a session, then you can learn from every artist. I don't think I had one specific thing that I learned that was like groundbreaking. I think the thing I learned that was groundbreaking is that there are no shortcuts. We always think, you know, in like this big artist that once we see how they work, we would get this secret that makes them that big, but
Nah.
it
There's no
doesn't-
secret.
It doesn't
No
exist.
secret, guys.
Okay,
No
pack
secret.
it up, pack it up.
You know,
We're leaving.
when you see someone like Erez from Infected Mushroom writing stuff live on like a piano or a synth, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
It takes your breath away. Or when you see other artists and how they approach music, you can learn something from that and bring that into your music. I think the one relationship I had that really taught me a lot was my work with Modis, like with Uncharted Territory, because it's not just a collaboration that you do once. It's like a relationship. It's a project. And I was always like, you know, I had Freedom Fighters and I would work with other artists, but I never had a project with someone under a different name. Once we decided to do that, that was like, okay, we're kind of like getting married in a way. So it's not, it's not like a one night stand. It's a relationship. We're building something. So I think,
Challenging, yeah?
yeah, it's challenging, but it made me learn so much from him. Because he's an amazing musician. Like it is one of the best producers I've ever been with in a studio. And secondly, because you treat it differently, you know, like you treat a relationship and a one-night stand. It's
Yeah,
a
for sure.
different point of view. You have respect
Depends
for
on
each
the
one.
one-night stand, yeah.
No, but you have, you bring all the like the
And
gentlemanship and like all the respect to each
sure.
and every aspect. But still, when you have a relationship with someone, then you learn
Yeah.
the ins and outs of that person and your connection together. So I think in uncharted territory, I feel like a kid again,
Yeah.
which is something that I don't find myself feeling when I make music on my own.
That's amazing.
Because the connection between Asaf and I is always like, let's just make fun out of everything. Let's bring all of the darkness that we have inside, all of the like we're very cynical. So we bring all of that into the music of Uncharted. We have like internal jokes inside and like vocals in Hebrew and like everything happens there that doesn't happen on our individual project. It was very important for us we didn't want it to sound like Freedom Fighters and Modus made a track. We wanted it to sound like fresh, completely out of the box. We had no financial point of view for it. It was like,
Let's just do it and see what happens.
Like thank God we make a living out of our individual project when it's uncharted territory. Let's just go wild.
It's quite humbling, no? Like finding yourself all of a sudden with...
You have to have that because as an artist, once you succeed or like you said, you
like
know, like get to that point, you're like, I have to make the crowd happy. I have to make the promoters happy. I have to make the dance floor happy. And for us in Uncharted, it was like, fuck everything. Let's just have fun. And if people will relate, amazing. If they don't, it's all good. We had fun. You know, it taught us a lot individually too. So I love the feeling of like going back to being a kid again, because when we create, time doesn't exist. It's just pure fun. We have no idea whether we're gonna play it or not, or if someone wanna play it or not, or if people will tap into it or not. It's just about fun.
It's a good practice ego-wise.
It is very humbling, very humbling.
Yeah.
Is there anything you miss from the old days of the scene that today we cannot find it anymore?
That's a good question. That's
Something,
a
that
really good question.
Really,
the scene has changed. Come on, let's talk about it. Let's shit
yeah,
talk.
it's changed. There
Let's
was
shit talk a little
something that you really miss the most from the early days that we don't have it today anymore.
Or not necessarily miss, but like something that you can...
Here it comes.
I think every person you meet that is above the age of 18 or 20 will tell you that it used to be different back then.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk to your dad, talk to your grandfather. Each one of them had their own experiences because these experiences happened when they were at a certain age, at a certain point in life. And I think talking about how good it was back then and how bad it is nowadays doesn't help in any way, shape or form. You know what I mean? All we have is now. Tomorrow we have no idea what's going to happen. In the past already happened. We can't bring it back. We can learn from it.
Yeah, I mean,
so for me, it's just like if you ask what I miss from the old days, I miss my mom's food.
Okay, that's good enough.
What was it? What did you like the most?
My mom, rest her soul in peace, used to cook a lot of Moroccan food, but like very, like street level, good stuff. And like, it felt like home, felt like a hug. So that's the only thing I miss from the good old days, let's call it. And I really think that if you look closely, you have parties nowadays that really reminds me of the days of the Third Empire, where people have no phones on the dance floor.
Oh, yeah.
People are just there to have fun, and I think we should focus on what's good and not what used to be better, because it already happened.
For sure. But like some things that you bring from the past, things that shape you as a person, things that shape you as an artist. things that shape your relationship with the dance floor and with the culture. So eventually, even though we live in the moment, and we don't. I mean, as a practice, we better not look at the past and like live the moment. But then again, there are some things that you can still aspire to. In the way.
Like what?
For example, he rightfully mentioned the phones. I mean, the moments that you were completely, disattached from everything that is Babylon related.
Yeah, but it's a choice.
Of course, it's a choice.
It's a choice of
but
yours
the society,
to like
the society
have your,
influences you.
Yeah,
like,
but when you go
choose.
to like small festivals, I just played a show in France this weekend, like a small, beautiful psychedelic festival in the south of France. I think 1,500 people. Not one phone on the dance floor.
Nice.
Everybody was just like tripping out and having a good time, and it reminded me of how we were back in the day. You know what I mean? And there are still gatherings where people are not connected to their phones. Of course, there are gatherings where people are connected to the phones, and I hope to not see them as much. You know what I mean? But I cannot change it. People,
of course, for sure.
I aspire to bring people together and forget that they even have a phone.
Talking of which, Stereo Society. What can you tell us about it?
Ooh.
Speaking of gatherings and getting people together and delivering the message.
What's up at
What's up
Stereo
with that?
Society? What's going
up with
on?
that?
Well, it's a label that Ori and I and Pixel started a couple years back in 2019 after we left Omega. And we had a vision of like art before everything else, anything else. For us, it's just like we need to promote individuality. We need to promote art. We need to have our own language. And that's where Ori came into place, because he brought all that 90s vibes, and we collected like a bunch of artists we believed in back then. And nowadays they're forefronting the scene, like Deckel is like an amazing artist that you can see in so many places. And I take so much from him. Like I'm influenced from the way he treats himself as an artist, on how his media looks. Like I get a lot of ideas from that, and musically how Modus has evolved into like an amazing artist. And we have so many artists that I'm proud of and I look up to, that for me, like from my point of view, it's such an honor nowadays to be part of Stereo Society as an artist and as someone who helped develop the initial idea. I wish I had more time to invest in Stereo Society, but Ori runs the show, and if you want to give kudos to someone, then nowadays he's the person for that.
Shout out to Ori once again.
Definitely.
That's the second time this episode. It doesn't happen.
So I feel like Stereo Society is going. We are doing everything within our power to not commercialize ourselves. We stay at a place where art matters. We try to look for the most left field music we can. We try to promote everything around like individuality, like I said. And I'm proud of where it is right now. It's an amazing body of work that we all poured love into.
Way to go, guys! Like you also had like already how many? 2 festivals, 3 festivals?
3 or 4 even, I think.
Yeah,
and we did some stuff around the world as well, and we're doing some stuff this year as well. Yeah, it's
aspirations for the near future. That
we were doing something in Brazil soon, and we have
good luck.
Yeah, thank you. And we have Desert Society, which happens every year.
That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, and it's just. We let it, like I said earlier, it's a marathon, and it's a marathon for Stereo Society as well. We're not looking to be like the biggest label, or it's not about
a boutique.
It's a boutique, and we want to keep it boutique, and we like it, and we don't want to over promote or over release. We want to keep it ours and like very independent.
You're so busy, like always flying, doing stuff, making music. What helps you to be more grounded, to chill down? What helps you to ground yourself with all this madness? It sounds like really crazy all the time. You're flying there, flying back. The hours are like insane. What helps you? What helps you
He's cooking.
to deal with it?
I think cooking helps me a lot because I do cook a lot. Like I'm into.
What's your favorite dish?
I'm into Italian. My family,
Yes.
my family has a house in Tuscany, which we've been going for the last 12 years, and
Nice.
I got into Italian cooking like 7 years ago, and ever since then I'm really into that. Like I cook most of my food, and I think where I find my silence is when I'm back home. I try not to be on my phone all the time looking for what people are saying, or
Yeah.
not to work 24/7. I try to be at the beach as much as I can, be around the people I love, my family
I was
and my
about to
best
ask which
friends.
beach to tell all the fans like where to
No,
look
the
at.
beach I go to, like there's literally 5 people on the entire strip. It's in the north of Tel Aviv, next
Don't,
to the.
don't tell anyone.
It's okay, they can go. I don't. I don't mind. So yeah. Anyway, the beach, my best friends. I make my own. Lately, in the last 3 months, I've been making my own almond milk.
Okay.
So I got into really got
Wow.
into making my own almond milk. I know
Wow.
it sounds weird for an
Side business.
yeah, no, I call it crocodile tears, and I even have an art for it. So yeah, so I make my own coffee, and I make my own almond milk, and I try to stay as healthy as I can, and go to the gym and really look after my health in every aspect. And I think that's what keeps me grounded. Because for me, I hate talking about fame or the fact that people
But you
recognize
have to
you.
sometimes.
Yeah, but for me, it's not the reason we're here. It's not the reason I'm here. It's not for me. It's about making art and making people think, and make them feel something. It doesn't always have to be happiness, but it always have to be something.
Yeah.
So for me, that's my mission and my.
As opposed to stagnation.
Yeah, I try to bring unity and love into the world and not, the other way around. So for me, it's just that's what keeps me grounded. Always remembering why I do what I do, and always remembering that it's not about me. I'm just, I just take information from above and I spill it out.
Pass it like a tube.
Exactly. I'm like a tube. I don't do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have information and I bring it forward. That's it.
Any thoughts or ideas or something that you want to tell the younger generation of the younger fans that are look up to you and you were just talking about stuff that you do, about living healthy, about eating healthy, about keeping yourself grounded, and as we all know, the electronic scene, the psytrance scene, there are a lot of things that can get the person to the very opposite.
It's true.
Easily.
True.
Not only drugs, but it's a very fast living.
It's true.
So, as a huge name, as a big name, as an artist, any words of wisdom that you can share?
To be honest, I'm quite married to what I do. So everything that holds a threat towards freedom fighters or my essence in this world, I just kick away. You know what I mean? Let's try to put it this way. If I decide to be a narc-head and do drugs all day, you know what I mean? Then I will take my eyes off the ball. I wouldn't be able to transmit the energy that I can, because I'll be all around the drug thing. And then it will take me time to snap out of the drug game, and I would need months or years to come back to my center. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Same thing with maybe it has a lot to do with how I treat life. For me, I put my art above everything, and maybe that's the reason I'm not married with kids in the age of 35.
Having a goal as opposed to having temptations.
Exactly. Temptations are all around all the time, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't enjoy the fruits of your labor, but just stay modest, stay grounded, stay centered. understand that your art and your message is above everything. If you want to succeed in being an artist, you have to keep your eyes on the ball, because there are so many things that can, drive you away from from the center.
The drugs are good.
I use,
You cannot argue with that.
the only thing I actually use is like, let's say, I don't know, DMT or acid or stuff like that, and I don't misuse them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very important issue.
Yeah.
I use them
It's also
to
hard to misuse them. Like, no, it's not hard, but it's.
You
I've
can, man.
I've never done any lines of anything, you know what I mean? So for me, it was always about something that opens
Well, you
my
have your whole
mind.
career in front of you, so.
No, man. It's
Speaking
for
of
me.
techno.
No. For me, it was
Not
always
too late.
about opening my mind into new realms
Yeah.
and into new levels of consciousness that are not within the
For
seeing
sure.
eye. So for me, it was always all about that. So when I do use these things, I use them in order to open another doors of perceptions, other doors that I cannot access when I'm here right now with you.
Yeah.
So for me, it's part
we
of the
can
game.
drop acid right now. I mean, like.
Yeah, come on.
So for me, it's that, and yeah, I mean, in all, I think, and if I can give people another thing that they should always look up to is always try to bring something new to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about the orchestra before,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It was like, okay, how do I take this freedom fighter thing and bring it forward more musically, more interesting, more outside of what people are used to hearing.
Were you shaking? at that
Shaking my
show?
ass like balls off, man. It was so fucking scary because,
Damn.
like you're on stage with 40 people who's classically trained, way better musicians than I am. I'm like,
Talking about humbling
Wow,
experiences.
wow,
I'm like, I'm not even in the same level. So yeah, I mean, being on stage with these people was a humbling experience because I knew that I wanted to bring something forward. And then when Mayor Briskman, the orchestrator, and I, the conductor, and I came together, it was us knowing that we have to build the orchestra around the psychedelic realm.
Quite challenging.
That was the challenge, you know what I mean? Because doing the orchestra on top of music, okay, that's okay. But if you lose the psychedelic aspect of
Yeah.
it, you lost your heart.
Yeah.
If you lost your heart,
You lost the crowd.
you lost the crowd. And then it's a cool experience, but it's not something you can run with. So for me, it was about bringing something new to the table. And it's the same thing, like I was invited humbly, thank God, to do Boom this year. And
Yay.
they asked me to play. They heard me playing. The guys from Boom heard me playing at festivals last year, and they heard me playing this mix of like hypnotic techno and psychedelic trance. And they were like, "We want you to do that at Boom." And for me as an artist, as a set that I usually do at like small stages, having that recognition from them was like, on one end, I'm happy and humbled, and I'm so like, really, as I said, like lucky and humbled to be able to do that on a big stage. On a different point of view, it's like people that are used to listening to freedom fighters are not necessarily going to hear the tracks that they're used to.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy about because I always wanted people to understand that I am more of, I have more to say than the hits that you guys know. Like I have so many aspects to my personality. So if I play before Rodha at Boom, then I can play hypnotic psychedelic techno, trance, and still, have that freedom fighters mentality and idea.
Stay in your lane.
Exactly, and have my fingerprint on it. It will still sound like freedom fighters from a different point of view. So for me, that's a place that I got that I'm now like really happy with. Like you asked me about getting to that place when you're like happy with yourself. This is what I'm happy about.
So you did get to that place.
This is what I'm happy about. The fact that I can play a nighttime set at Boom and play hypnotic psychedelic techno trance, and I can close the stage at Ozora and play a more happy tribal sort of like psychedelic vibe.
Any down-tempo projects? That's something that like interests me personally.
Wow.
Very much.
I have to say, if you talk to me about like down tempo, the first thing that comes to mind that I love is Jean-Michel Jarre. I don't, that's my Bible.
Speaking of psychedelic.
Yeah, but I
classic.
did one or two of those, but I was never highly like passionate about it, and I don't do things that I'm not passionate about. For me, it was always about the dance floor and about dancing.
Yeah.
And the down tempo stuff, like I appreciate it, but it's not the core of my being. I was never one of those people who go to a down tempo stage and like dance in it. You know what I mean? It was never my thing.
Maybe you
so
should try it.
I did, and I loved hearing Eat Static doing it. I was like mesmerized
Merv
by it.
is amazing.
Yeah, and Vibrosphere back in the day,
Oh, yeah.
and Spongle is
Classic.
like way, way, way out.
Speaking of albums that don't leave your bedroom, Vibrosphere, the down-tempo album.
Yeah,
Wow.
amazing.
Insane.
So back to it. I was never highly passionate about it, but who knows? Maybe in 5 years, when I'm slightly older and I want to take it, like a gear down, maybe I will find myself doing it. I never say never, but for now, I kind of have my taste in other places.
Okay.
Okay, guys, so we need to wrap it up soon.
Oh, that was a good
Yeah.
conversation.
I know it was
We have many more
really, really
questions.
fun. We have a lot of questions, but we don't have a lot of time. So, for grand finale, tell us something funny or hilarious that happened to you during a set, or some really funny moment on stage. Something, but
Shameful,
something really, really
shameful,
all
something that
in.
can go
While
viral.
Yeah, let's go.
While
Give us something for the reels.
2 years ago at Ozora. 2 years ago at Ozora, you can even see it in the after movie. 2 years ago at Ozora, I was playing, and in front of me, there was a dude, and on top of the dude, on the shoulders, was a girl, and on the girl was another girl. So it was like fucking, I see it, like
That's
it's
a
in a
weird
video at
threesome.
Ozora. I was like, what is going on? And then next to them, someone brought like an old school phone. And just like, while this is happening, I see someone like answering the phone and letting other people answer the phone while I'm playing. And I'm like, what
the hell is going on?
And it can only make sense at Ozora. It's like somebody's answering like a wire phone that isn't connected to anything. And then there's like a person and another person and another person on top of that person. And it's legit. And then I see someone.
It makes sense.
And then I see someone walking around with like a huge crocodile, and someone is on that crocodile, and I'm like,
these guys at the dance.
yeah, they go like.
You've been there, no?
Yeah.
Every time I play, people
man, we've
bring
seen
crocodiles, like inflated ones, and I fucking love that. Every time I see crocodiles, I'm like, yes,
Guys,
bring me
more
more
crocodiles.
It's
More
funny,
crocodiles.
it's fun, and that was an experience, because it's like maybe that one thing wasn't like a shocking, but having these three things happening right next to each other made me go like, we are in paradise.
Yeah.
Things
This
like
is
that
home. This is
only
home.
happens in like paradise in the same set. So
This is
that was
home.
that's one thing I remember. But I mean,
For many
I
moments
think
as such. to come.
It's such an amazing scene, the psychedelic scene. Really, there's a reason why people like us, in our age, are still part of it. There's something magical about it that just sucks you in, and I'm humbled, to like be able to contribute even the smallest contribution to the scene from my point of view, and from my eyes, and I'm just humbled to be part of this realm.
Way to go. Way to go.
Yeah, it was a really nice episode. Thank
you
you
for
very
having me,
much
guys.
for
That's a
your
wrap.
time, Shachaf. Good luck with the new project. Well, it's not that new, but uncharted
But it's
territory.
that of a project.
Yeah, it's a really good music, guys. If you didn't hear it yet, go ahead, Stereo Society. So thank you for being with us. It was a really pleasure. Don't forget to follow us on social media, Tribecast Podcast. And anything you want to add to the end?
No, thank you, Ruben.
Thank you.
Shahar.
Thank you guys for having
Thank
me.
you. And
Good luck with Tribecast.
Thank
And
you.
I'll see you guys on the dance floor.
See you on the dance floor.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's a wrap.
Yes.
Tribecast, a podcast by the tribe for the tribe by Next Wave Media.